I'm working at 2703. And today's subject is what my wife and has upset my wife for many, many years. And we feel the general public and everybody that has heard things and about the state school versus public school needs to be corrected, or the truth needs to come out. Is that right?
Right.
And so we are concentrating in, we're going to talk about Nebraska schools, state school versus public school. But, I don't know where you all are watching from, but there are several states that have their own blind school. And a lot of people don't know it exists. So, I'm just going to let Jill tell you about and get you all corrected. And maybe you guys would understand the school from a student's point of view. Jill came from Holdridge, Nebraska. I was from Campbell, Nebraska, but we've been at the school, right?
Right.
In 1982.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna let Jill take the floor. So yours. Go blue and gold cheerleader.
Thanks.
On the victory.
Thank you. My name is Joan Morgan. Well, when I went to public school and state school, I used to be a Donahue. And I didn't like the way my public school thought that my state school was going to be. Because I heard my public school try to tell me that the state school was going to be strict. I wasn't going to have any fun there. It was just going to be very, very strict and structured. But when I went to the state school, I found out that it wasn't structured at all. And I had a lot of fun. And I also found out that at the state school, they taught me a little differently than what they taught me at public school. Because at the state school, I had large print, which allowed me to keep up with my classmates better so that I wouldn't fall behind. And so that I could believe in myself and get better grades. And my dorm life.
What did the public school say about your? That's a state school. How did they? What was their curriculum? What did they teach?
Well, the state school.
What did public school say?
Well, the public school tried to tell me that I wouldn't learn the same things that the public school would teach me. But at the state school, I found out that I learned English, math, I learned science, physical education. I learned how to type, work on the computer. Uh, I learned shop.
Penmanship.
Yeah, I learned penmanship. Yeah, handwriting. I learned pretty much the same things I learned in public school, only I learned them in a little different way, which I thought was really cool. And I found out that there was a big cafeteria at the school, which I really enjoyed because the food there was served family style. It was already on the table when you got there. And I learned to love it. And like I said, there was my dorm life, which was really fun. I enjoyed living in the dorm because I had my house mother and I had my dorm mates, which were all girls, and myself, and it was fun because those girls, my dorm mates, were like my sisters, and my house mother was like my biological mother. So we were like a family, and we did lots of fun things together. We played games together. We went to the movies together, shopped together. Um, we'd do Christmas parties, Halloween parties, birthday parties. There was never a dull moment in the dorm. That's why I loved living in the dorm. And there was extracurricular activities, and I enjoyed those too. There was gymnastics, there was cheerleading, jazzercise, track, there was bowling leagues, music contests, there was church choir, honor choir, and those were all fun. I enjoyed those.
Cheerleading.
Those kept me really busy.
Just like cheerleading.
Yeah, cheerleading with a couple cheerleading mates of mine and the coach. And that was really fun. I really enjoyed doing that. And let's see, traveling with the school to the other schools, visually challenged schools, that too was fun. I enjoyed traveling. And I also enjoyed Like, for instance, in music, we'd have the music programs, and I enjoyed singing and music, so I had a lot of fun with that. So there's many fun things that I kept busy doing. I don't think I ever had a dull moment at that school. It was fun. Let's see, what else can I say about the school? Uh, if I needed help with a certain thing, they would help me do whatever it was I said I needed help doing. So they just made it so comfortable and easy for me to learn what I needed to learn. And state school was the best school that I ever went to.
What about, so, in closing, would you encourage parents to check with the school districts or let the school district know about the school?
Yes.
Or maybe parents should be educated upon the subjects of the school out here?
Yeah, I think so. Especially if the parent or parents have a visually challenged son or daughter, or grandson or granddaughter.
Well, and you believe even if they don't, even if they don't, would you encourage them to go visit the school
Yes, I would.
and see
I
what it's
most
all about?
certainly would. Yes, absolutely.
I mean, I think,
Take a tour of the state school.
yeah, don't assume what's
Check
going on.
out the dorm. Check out the cafeteria. Check out the classrooms and see what goes on instead of just assuming that you know.
Because as you know, and I know, the school is here now, but a while back they were trying to close the school.
Yeah, I remember that. And I wasn't going to let that happen because I love the state school.
So, you know,
I wasn't going to let them shut down.
we attended the hearings at the Capitol. We went to the Capitol and talked to the senators, visiting with the senators, and got to know our senators. We actually sang, because one of our senators was Irish. We went up on St. Patrick's Day and did a school concert at the Capitol. But too many people assume in the general public. They see the building, but they don't want to take the time and see what it's all about.
True.
I mean, we had two special visitors come to our school.
Yeah.
And who was that?
Bob Carey and Taylor.
Right. And when they got to sit, we gave them the tour, you and I.
Yeah.
And when we got to sit down and eat lunch with them, kind of off on our sides, but they made one comment and they agreed on it, was we are just like anybody else.
Yeah.
The only thing different is we have our challenges.
Yeah.
But we're out there
We
running,
don't see as well as 2020 people.
we're out there running track and field. They're running track and field. Post we're running track and field. We do wrestling. They do wrestling. We do speech. They do speech. Cheerleading.
Yeah. So we do the same things. We just do them in a different way.
The only thing we don't do is basketball or football. The football games and basketball games. Or volleyball games. But it doesn't mean we're different. And when you go out in the general public and I know the school was trying to get with mobility and independent living, what were they trying to voice out to the general public?
Well, that visually challenged people have a right to go out in the community and do things.
Mm-hmm. We should be seen, be heard,
Exactly. We should both be seen and heard.
and respected.
Yes, and respected.
And I know with the school, you get report cards and that. Did they ever give a student a failing grade?
No, not at all. And all my report cards that I got from the state school, I never received any failing grades.
Does the school believe in
And I
failing?
spent quite a few years at the state school. 9 years.
Right. But did they believe in failing?
No, they don't believe in failing. They want you to try. They want you to try your best at all the classes.
Right.
So that you don't feel like a failure. We're not going to let you feel like a failure.
I know several times you would go up and say, for instance, cooking. And I don't know why they had you cook the was it duck
Roast duck.
right away.
I don't know why they did that.
But you said There's no way I can accomplish this.
Yeah, that's what I said at that time. I was like, I can't do this. I'm not gonna be able to make a roll stick.
And what did
I have no idea how to assemble to make a roll stick.
the instructor say?
And Mrs. Bender just politely told me, you can give it a try. And I was like, okay, I don't know if I can do this,
Yeah,
but I'll give it a try anyway.
you don't know until you try. And that goes back to what your dad always told you. You're not going to ever fail. You don't know if you can't do anything if you don't try.
True.
So, just to make this clear with the general public or anybody watching this, and I don't want to upset anybody, but yet I want to, and I think Phil wants to make it perfectly clear, the state school is identical to public or
Yes.
Catholic.
I want to make that clear. The state school is identical to public school. The only difference is that the state school has large print and braille books if the students need them. They don't just have small print books like public schools do.
And when we were in school, we had the voice on the computers.
Yes,
I
to
don't
make it
think
easier to
public
navigate the computer.
Yeah, and I don't think public schools had an introduction of computers back then. But they didn't have voice.
No.
And now the school up here is sending our people or our instructors to go down to teach teachers in different school districts through Nebraska. If I remember right.
Yeah.
How to teach and handle the visually challenged or whatever comes in your door. All right.
Yeah.
And we also, it's kind of nerve-wracking to me, but I guess you can't stop progress, but the school is slash a resource center. So if let's say you're living out in Hastings, Saturday, wherever in Nebraska, or I don't know if it's just Nebraska, you can contact the school or NCBP, whatever it is.
Nebraska Center for the Education of Children who are blind or visually impaired.
Yes, that place.
It's a long phrase.
The school can the school district can call or email or contact the Nebraska City place and get the book braille, large print, digital, whatever they need for their student out there.
Yeah.
Sent to them.
Okay, that sounds
So,
good.
if I remember correctly. And it came, the goal when we were in school, yes, they were bringing the kids what they needed, their large print and but the goal was also to get the child for the student mainstreaming back into the public school, so they can graduate
with their peers.
right, and they can do activities with their peers.
Yeah.
And the other thing I liked about the state school, besides my wife telling me,
Thank
Well,
you, dear.
kids came from all over. I think we had people come from Wyoming
Yeah, we did.
and Colorado.
We had Donovan Ainsworth and Justin Moore. Whoops, I used names.
But we had transportation. They had a van that picked them up at the airport. Okay, another one that came from somewhere else. But the van would take people to Omaha with the bus. I think you were on the bus a couple times on that way
Yes, I did.
to Holbrook.
Yes.
And they would take the students to the airport in Omaha or Lincoln. They would take them to the mall where they meet their family that they were going to stay with for the break. So transportation was provided to and from school. And when you guys went downtown or you guys did, you girls did shopping, right?
Yeah.
You guys used the cars and the station wagons and the vans and
Yeah.
went as a family.
Yeah. And I forgot about something. Part of my dorm life was spent doing girls' nights out with my dorm mates and my house mother. And we'd go to Hardee's, which is now Burger King, but it used to be Hardee's. We'd just sit there and grab a pop, or if we had the money, grab something to eat and just socialize.
Was it Hardee's or did you get a little Duffers?
We went to what used to be Hardee's in school.
Okay, because the Hardee's came into.
But it's no longer Hardee's.
Yeah, but the Hardee's came into it after I graduated. Little Duffers was before I graduated.
Well, I'm thinking it was Hardee's.
Anyway, it was a restaurant.
Where we could all go and socialize.
And I think we need to make one thing clear. You are saying the girl. So it sounds like that's just a girls' school.
Well, girls' dorm.
Right.
I spent a lot of time with my dorm mates.
But it's not just a girls' school.
No.
There is a men's or boys' dorm.
Yeah, there is a boys' dorm.
And they did the same thing. Basically, what I understood.
And from what I know about that, they did the same things pretty much that the girls did.
Okay. And the school, when you guys went to from the school, the classroom, then you got in gym classes, then you were boys and girls together.
Yeah,
And when we travel, it was boys and girls together.
yeah.
And the other thing, and I really, really want to make this prominent. I'm proud of the school for this reason. Is they're not discriminatory. We had colored students there, and they didn't put them in a different classroom, a different teacher. They were included in the school
Yeah.
activities. Even though they didn't want to be, they wanted to be out on their own, they were part of the class.
Yeah.
We even had what was it, albinos,
Yeah.
and mentioning no names, but
Nope, mentioning no names.
they were accepted as the. So no matter what race you are or anything, you are treated
Equal.
exactly equal.
You don't get shoved off into a corner.
And the thing that really made me so proud was we had people in wheelchairs. And they got taught in the same class as everybody else. Whatever grade that they were in, they went into that classroom and learned.
Yeah. Just like everybody else.
And I mean, you learned how to dance with a person in a wheelchair.
Yeah. I didn't think I could dance with a person in a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
But much to my surprise, I danced with the person in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I guess I can dance with a person in a wheelchair.
And the thing about the school too, if you wanted to go and do some extra jobs around the school, you could just go up and ask them, right?
Right.
And what,
Well, you'd ask the administrator what you can do jobs at the school,
mm-hmm.
and they'd tell you, or not tell you, they'd probably ask you what you had in mind that you thought you could do.
Like what some jobs that you did?
Like for instance, I used to, if I remember right, I used to pass out, and I'm thinking I used to make coffee for the teachers. And I napkin holders need to be filled with the napkin holders. So there were some jobs that I did around the school.
Picking up trash.
Yeah, I used to pick
After
up
school?
trash. Yeah,
Basically,
I
brushing
pick up the
tables.
trash.
And your kids got an allowance for doing that.
Yeah.
What else? Real quick.
Let's see, what else was there?
I got hired at summer school to help with my job with the school. They hired the blind teachers. They weren't discriminatory at all, right?
Right.
Okay. So real quick, we're gonna close this out. If in doubt and you don't, check it out. Right?
Right.
Don't sit there and assume. Take action. And if you really want to see how the school has changed Jill and I in our marriage, check out our um, anniversary photos and videos and stuff that I have on my YouTube channel. We also have things on our Facebook at Tim and Joe Morgan, and we also have it on Jill Tim's 25th wedding anniversary. Check me out. A lot of the me becoming running for mayor for a couple rounds now. It's kind of my way of showing that we need to be seen, heard, and respected as one. We shouldn't be singled out. I go to city council meetings. I encourage people to view my channel, view our Facebook, share the word, check out the schools, and just remember some of the house parents up there were college students. Some of our student coaches were college students.
Yeah.
All of our people, our staff, went through special school, special ed school to teach. Even our coach was legally visually challenged. Our history teacher was totally blind, but he was married to our nurse.
Who was sighted.
Was sighted. And our other history teacher was totally blind, and he was not married. Mr. Regler at that time was our administrator, but his wife was totally blind. So Jill and I have been married, and I believe going through the history of the school, we are the only ones that went through fall school and got married, and both visually challenged. I know we're basically the only visually challenged couple in our community, and I think Joe and I would like to invite people. If you have questions about us and you want to know more about us, hey, don't be shy.
Feel free to ask.
Mm-hmm. There's never a stupid question.
That's the best way to find out about us.
Yep. You know, we don't like being talked about behind our back like anybody else wouldn't like to be talked behind their back. There's not a stupid question. There's never a stupid answer. You're going to learn and you're going to walk away with more knowledge than you've ever seen. And you might see a lot of knowledge just by looking at our videos. You can learn from it. And if you have any questions, be free to comment. We'll comment back. But there, one other thing I want to make perfectly clear about that school as well. People probably think that we don't get punished for not doing our homework, or if we misbehave in school, we get away with anything. Baloney. I was one of those that didn't like doing their homework. I ended up staying after school. Many times. I I was a rebel. I just kind of did my own thing. Could have been suspended, but I got restricted from the school property after 4 o'clock until 8 o'clock the next day. And I had to be escorted from class to class because I did something wrong. And that was with a female student. So no, we don't get away with anything. The punishment is probably as strong or maybe stronger than public school. But being a smaller school, your more chances of getting caught is much more greater than public school. What do you think?
I agree.
So, okay. So I think the next video I think Phil and I are going to do is common things that our parents should be aware of with low vision are signs that their child is struggling. Is that what our next one will be?
Yeah.
So, stay tuned. Hopefully this was a very informative video. And everything we said today is our viewpoint and not the viewpoint of the school or the staff or any other student. It is our point.
I know that this has been said earlier, but I just want people to be able to tour the state school and see what it's all about instead of just assuming that they know.
Exactly. And I would like to say one thing, and I think Jill will probably extend on it. When you see somebody with a cane or that's low visioned and you're driving, be aware of the person with the cane. I mean, it's funny. We were on mobility run one day, and our instructor said that that one vehicle stopped and they were waving us on. Like we could see them waving us on. And then I know another thing that upsets both of us when we go to a restaurant is what?
Well, what upsets us when we go to restaurants, we go up to the counter to order, and we don't know if anybody's there unless they say, "Hello, may I take your order?"
Right. So if you're going to work at a restaurant or somewhere, just say hello. Can I help you? You know? And excuse us if we bump into you. You know, if you're a customer and we can't see, I mean, we might go in a sighted guide, but the sighted guide might just misguide us and we bump into somebody. We don't mean to. I mean, some people get bent out of shape. Watch what you're doing. Can't take it. You know.
Yeah.
So let's make this a better place for the visually challenged, the low any challenges in life when they go out in the general public. Treat them as with respect and courtesy, just like the way you would want to be treated if we were behind the counter, right?
Right.
Of course, don't go up to when we say, what do you have on special? It's right there on the board, see? Uh, yeah, what board?
That's another thing that I hate. They'll say, "Can't you see what this special is? It's right there on the board." And being visually challenged, you are like, "Where in the same hell is the board?"
Mm-hmm. Okay.